The story behind the song One More Time is based on the life of Samson. It can be found in the book of the Bible, Judges chapter 16, starting in verse 23. So many of us are familiar, in some small way at least, with the story of Samson. This particular song is based on the end of his life. After Samson had been captured by the Philistines and his eyes had been gouged out, they cut off all of his hair, of course, to take away his strength. And after some time, it says in the Bible that they brought Samson out. They wanted to kind of celebrate that they had captured him before their false god. But before too long, it says, Samson's hair had grown back. And in this particular section of Scripture, it says that Samson prayed to the Lord, Lord, strengthen me, sovereign Lord, strengthen me one more time. And that's where the story of this song comes from. It's based on this idea that Samson had really come to realize what the point of his life had been and how God wanted to use him to be the judge of Israel that God had called him to be. It's this final chapter where his strength had returned and he's before the celebrating Philistines, before their false god, and yet Samson knew then and there that he believed in the God of all gods, the great I Am, and with great divine power, Samson pushed the columns and the pillars that was holding up the roof. And of course, you know the end of the story. The building collapses on top of Samson and all of the Philistines, and therefore Israel, in some small way, gets the victory that God had promised all along. And really, it's a display of God's holiness. It's a display of God's redemption in the life of Samson. And really, it's written from that perspective of Samson's own life. There's a lot going on there. I'd really encourage you to read the Scripture yourself so you can see the text and what's happening all beneath the story of the song. With all that said, I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening.